us know. I have answered you before you ask. Have we ever come across that situation? In the secrecy of things, where no one knows, where no one sees, not even the spirit beings, whether they be disloyal or whether they are loyal, there is not one living creature on this earth that can see the way Father in spirit, in secret, sees in us or in His creation. And He wants that intimate, or I should say that personal intimacy as a father and a child does in secrecy of things. Because we live for His glory. Because whatsoever we do has to be for His glory. And we have to do it with all our might. Everything that we do, we have to do it with all our might. And as being the temple of the living Jehovah, our Elohim, we need to constantly be on the alert, bringing our thought captives to that realization that as we have on our being and our breath, in the secrecy of things, He knows what is going on in that brain of ours, within the spirit. Now I want to jump into another side of the equation of the secrecy of things. Let's turn to 1 Corinthians 4. 1 Corinthians 4, and then I've got verse 5 here. But let's read verse 3. 1 Corinthians 4, 3. But with me it is a small matter that I should be judged by you or by a man's court. But not even myself I judge. But what he's saying here is that he's not making a conclusive analysis about himself, because he's not subject to change. Okay. So do not judge, verse 4, for I am not conscious of any matter against myself, not declared right by this. But he who judges me is Jehovah. So this is the primary verse here that I want the most important emphasis that I want to bring. So do not judge any at all before the time, until the Master comes, who shall bring to light what is hidden in darkness, and reveal the thoughts of the heart. And then each one's praise shall come from Elohim. And this is very important, that we do not make a conclusive analysis about things that we come across, or people who come across in our lives. We're looking from outside within a situation. We're not within the situation. But yet, at the same time, on the other side of the equation is that we do find ourselves within the situations. We find ourselves in the secrecy of things. And we do not want people to make a conclusive analysis about our conscience in regard to a situation. We all have experience. If I'm saying this for admonishment, I'm not saying this for reproof, I'm saying this so that we can, how can I put it? I was going to use the term gloriously appear ourselves in conscience before Jehovah and analyze the situations that we find ourselves in for His glory, honor, and praise. We all encounter situations, and we all find ourselves in a situation where you know deeply things that were not so, but yet from the outward appearance, people would use that outward appearance and use it against you. So, in other words, saying that whatsoever you say or whatsoever you do will be you against you. We all heard that little sentence. But that's looking at the outward appearance. If you were to look at the inward appearance in the secrecy of things, it's a different ballgame, isn't it? And so what we don't want others to do unto us, then we should not do it to others. And if I may boldly say also, is that the things that we say about people, the words that we say about people in a smaller sphere, will impact us one day, even the people who are dead. If we talk about a dead person, we will have to give accountability for those words. Because there is nothing that is said that will not be given accountability. Every single deeds and thoughts and words that is said, that is done, that is thought, will come to the light. And in the same way that when like the moon It takes on and the light shines on it and slowly goes through the process of the month. Everything that is concealed will come to light. And just like the sun, that when it rises in the east and shows forth its glory all the way to the west, every single deeds and words and thoughts will be manifest. And we will have to give accountability for that. Now, that's not without saying that if you realize by the Spirit of Jehovah that your deeds are evil, that is contrary to the light, to his word, and you repent and you stop doing it in thought, in heart, well, then the chances are that you will be forgiven and will not come to light. But we have to analyze ourselves in the secrecy of things, that the spiritual house of Jehovah, dwelling within us by his Spirit in the name of Yeshua, that we do clean our home. And by that I mean business, seriously. Think of all the things that you might have thought about a person, either dead or alive. Give accountability for. And not any one of us can make a conclusive analysis or a conclusive judgment in regard to anyone's situation, because we are not within that situation except for being in our own before Father Jehovah. Like I said, this is not reproof. This is words of admonishing, because of the fact that I like to bring things in perspective, in the sense of making it personal from me to you, brethren. And I would like to also encourage and to admonish each and every one of us, and that's including myself as I'm hearing the sound of my own voice. Okay. Psalm 81. Now we're going to go into reading. Let's go to Psalm 81, verse 1. But the focus is on verse 7. But let's read the whole thing, because, like I said, we're going to allow the words of Jehovah on this new moon day of the 9th month, and also on the Sabbath, to make our heart to rejoice and to have his word to admonish us. Shout for joy to Elohim our strength. Raise a shout to the Elohim of Jacob. Lift up a song and beat the tambourine, the pleasant lyre, and with the harp. Blow the ram's horn at the time of the new moon on our festival day. For this is a law for Israel and a right ruling of the Elohim of Jacob. He appointed it in Jehoshaphat for a witness. When he went throughout the land of Mitzrayim, I heard a language that I did not know. He says, I removed his shoulder from the burden, his hand were freed from the basket. Verse 7. You called in distress, and I rescued you. I entered you in the covering of thunder. I proved you at the waters of Meribah, Selah. So we know that physically, Israel, if you go into other translations of this verse, the term covering of thunder is talking about in the secret. If you go and read it in the King James, it says, Thou causest in trouble, and I delivered thee. I entered thee in the secret place of thunder. I proved thee at the waters of Meribah. So there's two things here that happened to Israel of old. Two things that happened is that at the secret place of thunder, which is the covering of the thunders, Jehovah answers. But apply this, that in time of trouble delivers you. So in the secrecy of things, you cry to him, or we cry to him, and without making a blast, because Yeshua says that when you do things, right, you don't do things so that you could be seen by man or broadcasted. But you know, Jehovah also and Yeshua did and say things that were not to be broadcasted. And so therefore in our lives also that there are things that are not to be broadcasted. And they are to be for between Jehovah and you, for whatever purpose. And then one day even Jehovah will be praised by us openly before the holy and loyal host. There's going to be a lot of things that were done in the secrecy of things that are not yet revealed, but will be revealed. And everyone, whether praise and